What is going on, Cash Flow Friday, people? And I am going live today because last week I talked about this calculator that I was building, and to be honest with you, it's in a beta mode. So just like anything, it never works out perfectly, but I wanted to keep my word. Make sure not only I came here again on Cash Flow Friday and show you some of the progress that I've made and just help you understand some of the details. So it'll be finished. I'll officially roll it out and allow you guys to be able to use it, analyze, calculate deals, and just continue to go along with me on this journey. So as you can see, so right now I'm in my office and it's in construction mode. So we homeschool and most of this area is always used just for that. So just the reality is when you, as I talked about, last week, reconstruction, from Arkansas to Texas, you know, business is growing, and so I have to, thankfully, have worked in the space where people from my church has allowed me to use the office space. So um, it's so if it look crazy right now, it'll get better over time. But I want to show you as far as like how I'm analyzing my deals and how my mind works, how my brain works, because I think this is good. So just kind of to recap, um, we went from 20 property to 6 property. So if you wanted to see that video, that's a previous video. I chopped it up last week video. I recorded it and then played it back, but what I've realized is that I like going live. That is much better. That's much more my style, and that will be the practice basically moving forward. So I make sure you have a consistent time to make sure we catch you. If you've seen this replay, so make sure you get on our calculator list so that any insights or any deals that I think you need to analyze, you can be able to analyze with this tool that we're using. And the calculator is just a strategy. It's a way that you can start looking, but even realizing like the terms when you're understanding like how the calculator can help you out. Oh, sorry. So how the calculator can help you out, and also understanding. I just realized I was on a completely different screen for a minute there. So thank you for being patient. Like it's like under construction, but this is just a form of helping me get better and you get better analyzing deal because the terms that go along with it and like the knowledge. I have seen people. You can take this calculator and build a $10 million portfolio, $15 million portfolio because the numbers are the numbers. How anybody looks at this, you can be able to use it. So that's why I'm excited to share it because anytime I analyze deals, I always done this in my head, and I always try to find ways and tell my coaching clients, hey, how can I figure out a way to actually allow you guys to be able to do this? Um, how can we figure out a way to bring this to you as you're going out looking at deals? Because sometimes you got to analyze probably 100 deals, and this calculator can help. All right, so let me. Ooh, look at that mother angle. Let me go ahead and share my screen and see if we can get this pulled up. Here we go. All right. So right now it's pretty simple. So we just to be a download, but it's simple. Like so, we'll put in the address. So now, one of the things is I want to be able to pull this on Google because most of the time people, when they're looking at things, if we send them a property through our database, when you log in, I want to make sure you have that. And obviously, sometimes you don't, you can't be able to do so, but this is a manual entry. So that's why it says manually enter only. So let's just use we can go to Zillow and no, we can go to my website. Let's not go to Zillow. So JabariMcLennan.com, and when you go there, you'll be able to find properties. And so let's just go ahead and use this property here. So view property, and then we can get the address. So We'll put copy and paste that over. 7:15 go past, so I'll put that there. And so here's another thing. So we're working on. So eventually I'll have an AI tool. Excuse me, not AI, an API tool that will allow us to put in. Um, it'll pull data from rental meter, and that's helpful because you can get actual rents for the area. Because if you're not used to the area, that's the beautiful thing about this. Regardless of where you're at, you can be able to go and use this. So that's the beauty of this calculator. Like I always had to, have a separate account, like create a separate account, and have to pay for it. And like all this is just going to be like a free download. So that's the beautiful thing, and just continue to build on it. And even if you, it just give you a better understanding on how to evaluate deals. That's fine. So I'm just going to go. I don't have the AP calculator, so we're gonna go down, and so we'll go. So the sales price is 254. Now it's a couple of different strategies that you can go in and think about this. Now let's say the improvements. Now I know this house don't need a lot of, don't need really anything, but let's just say you just wanted to use, you want to use $5,000, or you wanted to get $5,000. Okay. Monthly rents. Now this unit has 6 bedrooms, 4 baths. And so what we has averaged this to be is, because it's the front and the back unit, you can get anywhere from 5,500 to 61 to 6,200. It really depends on the time of the year, because football season is the peak if you go on short term rental, and understanding it's a midterm rental um, um, type of market here. Meaning, if you're a construction worker, or you're a roofer, or you're somebody who's coming, like a doctor or a traveling nurse, those people need to be able to stay for about 2 to 3 months, right? So, anyways, you can have somebody stay in the back and you stay in the front. So you very, very unique setup. All right. So I'm just go ahead and put 6,100, and so taxes. So now this is the thing. I'm curious, how to be able to pull this in, and this is, I think, one of the things that halted me, because we can pull the. So if I was to go to Brazos uh, county taxes, and let's see here. No, it's not the right. Here we go. Taxes. And so you can go here and search it, but this is one of the things I want to find a way to actually get this built in if I can. If I can't, that's fine too. So you accept that, close, and so you end up putting just the address. So we put 715 Eagle. So all this is public record, so you can be able to see. Hey, this is 6692, and so what I'll just do is 6692 divided by 12, so 558. And so the cool thing about this is that it actually helps you get familiar with the taxes, what it normal insurance is going to be, because most of the time, most of the job, when you're cash flowing a property, to be honest with you, banks are never really going to ask you for this. Um, they just is going to assume you're going to pay your taxes and insurance alone when you're looking at an investment property. So keep that in mind. All right. So for insurance, I don't have a quote on none of that. So I'm just going to say, let's just say 150 for now. Use exactly what they have in there. Bam. Now today's interest rate for most investors, they have prime. Sometimes it's a point and a half. So let's just say probably 8%. For that, and so we'll put that here. So then this is where you're actually putting your information, and as soon as you put in your information, let's go here. Okay, let me block you. So you go here, bam, and then it'll send the information. Then it opens it up. All right. Now, this here is going to show your monthly breakdown. So based on the rent, like I said, we can be able to pull it. It's going to calculate your mortgage based on 8%. All right. And then it's going to show your property taxes, and it'll show your property insurance. So this property is going to cash flow $1,200 just how it stands. Now the beautiful thing about this, and we'll take this later, like you can be able to see more details. Now, one of the things about how this is broken down here at the bottom. And it usually shows a little bit different, and it's showing different now. So it's so interesting because last time it would show um, what the loan amount is, and so they cleaned it up. So once again, so let's talk about the loan information now. I was hinting on, if you go see my Instagram, talking about loan to value. Loan to value is a very important term. So think about if you are most time having a down payment or trying to find a down payment. Man, the thing I don't like about this is it doesn't show you the back end of it, and that's frustrating. So, anyways, once again, working on it. Oh no, that's not it. Okay. So anyways, let's just talk about loan to value, and then I'll tell you what's not there. All right. So loan to value is, bank is never going to give you 100% financing, right? So they're only going to give you a percentage. Now, most of the time, these breakdowns is going to, that's basically saying, so if 75%, then that means you need to at least be able to bring 25% down. And you say, well, where'd I get that from? So it's a little confusing, but just keep it simple. That means the loan value is going to be 494, 250. And so the difference between that is, so let's just say you got 659 and minus the amount finance is 494, 250. Okay. So you need 164, 750. So that's what you would need down on 25%. That seems like a lot, right? And also, if you go over here to the 85%, which is we all like, banks, depending on who you bank with, you know, you need 98,000. So you can have one of the two and get 98,000 on this. Now, um, one of the things this is supposed to show you is a breakdown of how much money you will receive back, because one of the ways we've used this calculator is it's an improvement loan. So if you're going to buy something, you can make improvement. Like, what you bought? Why would I put $5,000? Just an example. And as you guys see this recap, maybe you say, I want a better example, and that's perfectly fine. But um, this is the part that's missing, and it was actually there for this week. So it's some playing around I need to do with it. But you can see it even cash flows at that. Now you have to put X amount of dollars down how it shows. But what it's supposed to show you is, hey, if I put this amount of money, if I'm buying this property and it's evaluated at this much, then on the back end I can be able to get a certain amount of money to make the repair. So you can even do this with lower properties. So let's say you're trying to buy a property, and let's say it needed $15,000 in work. And like I say, this is just a quick snippet, but you can see, well, obviously the rents probably won't be that high, or the, so let's go, so 250, and let's just keep that at 100, and let's go here at this is 2,500. So you'll see that calculate. Okay. And a balloon note is just um, you have to refinance it in 5 years most of the time, and that is what the balance will be at that point. So it's a couple things that need to be done on here. So excuse me, but simply put, here is when you're tracking your cash flow, your ROI, so return on, look at that, return on cash is, if you can find a property that you can buy for 40,000, need $15,000 in improvements, go for it. Now, most time you buy a property that low, depending on where you're at and what state you're located, it needs a lot of work, and maybe this is like a new construction loan that you have to do, and you're like, all right, well, actually, gonna take 120 to be able to build this, and let me calculate that, and let me see, zero. So it still would work. So how that would work if say for instance I bought a new construction property and I bought the land for 40,000 and then I'm financing, total investment is 159 and my cash flow is gonna be 25. I mean, see, my rent's gonna be 2,500. So I got my taxes, insurance, my cash on cash return is 34.4. So you can be able to get a good return on that. It's better than the stock market, right? So it's important to understand your ROI. And the comps, that's the part that this comes in here. I would say for Bryan-College Station, it is a little hard to be able to know when what area you're in, what areas you are in. So this is really going to be just like a snapshot or an idea on what you could get. And that's why I tell you reach out to me and make sure we know what area you're looking at and specifically what are the details we can do to make sure we give you the right insight. All right. Now, so I'm going to continue to build this out. Like I say, it still needs some work done to it. But I wanted to make sure we went live on that and show you. And based on my experience, literally, this is how we got to the 20 properties. And I believe even as we went down, I'm still going to use this. Like this house that I'm sitting in right now in Bryan-College Station is how we use this. We use this exact formula to be able to acquire this. And so if you ever want to know more about my coaching and specifically how we got there, you can be able to reach out to us or make sure you book a time below in the link at the bottom, and we can kind of jump into that a little bit more. And so, man, do you want access to this? Do you want this? I mean, it's going to be just as simple. Hey, make sure you log in so that we can get a chance to connect, and then we'll follow up with you from there. And so next week, I don't have an insight on it yet, but we'll just continue to cash flow Friday lesson, and maybe I have a little bit more progress on this, and maybe we can show you the final product and then what will be released to people. And but this is where it's at right now. But then also, make sure you go to my recent video. We toured and took over on the property management. My wife, she's awesome at that. So that's the beautiful thing about our team. I'm always excited about is that we have multifacets of it. And she took over Airbnb that is literally across the street, within mouth radius of Texas A&M. And so, great opportunity to take a look at that video and understand rental rates, what the market is like, occupancy. We have more specifics in that video, so make sure you go check that out. But as you can tell, got family here, and we're going to probably wrap it up for today. But thank you guys for joining me in Cash Flow Friday. The job for Cash Flow Friday is simple. It is to get you to the place that your 9 to 5 is no longer paying you, that you have built up businesses and cash flow, whether it's from real estate or business, combination of both, so that you don't have to rely no more on your 9 to 5. And maybe you just say, I just want some extra income. Either way it goes, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you next week.